Freedom of religion, like other freedoms, is understood to be born and exercised first and foremost by individuals. But what about the role of faith communities or faith-based institutions? Do they exercise these freedoms as communities of faithful individuals?
So that's a really good question and a really difficult question. Because as soon as you think about communities and the law, you have to be able to define what a community is. You have to be able to define what a group is. And that gets very, very tricky because you have to ask then, who is part of this community? Is that an objective? Is there an objective way of defining that and understanding that? Or is it a subjective way of understanding that? So we have to really be clear about, if we're talking about groups and the law, how do we understand what it means to be part of that group? And I think that's really difficult. And I think that's why, particularly the law has shied away from group rights. Now, an individual who comes forward from a group to assert their right to religious freedom in whatever way and capacity, they very much represent the people in their community that think alike, right? So they're not representing their entire community, but they are representing a piece of that community. And so in that sense, they are not asserting community rights, but they certainly are representative of their community, and thus that right applies to their entire community that, again, thinks like them. So in some senses, even though we don't have group rights in terms of religious freedom, because especially religious freedom is enacted and manifested in groups and shared in groups, there is some overlap between these concepts and these ideas.
How do we ensure, and why must we ensure, the robust exercise of religious freedom within a multi-faith and multicultural society?
I think we should have very specific and tailored understanding of what it means to live according to your belief system. And I think that should be protected at almost any cost. Almost any cost. That's vital because it's a piece of our larger freedom. It's a reflection of our larger freedom, and that is worth fighting for.